Hey everybody, Alex here, and in this video we're going to be discussing my review after using the Zilla Mini LED plant bulb. So first off, I want to thank Zilla Reptile products again for this video. They have been very generous towards the channel, between my Chinese water dragon setup video all the way to me reviewing their mini halogens a few years after they aired, and now we are actually reviewing yet again another product by Zilla. So I just can't thank them enough. They really are just such a unique reptile company. I kind of get bored going over catalog after catalog of reptile products and seeing the newest paludarium or the newest nanodome or the newest rock cave, because most of the products out there that you see from other companies are pretty much repeats of each other, and Zilla definitely stands out because each of their products, between their latest vertical decor all the way to their substrates and their new front opening terrariums, which I adore, truly you can't beat Zilla as far as what makes them stand out compared to the other brands. Like I said, in this video I'm going to be telling you guys my review of their little mini LED plant bulbs. And so I got in contact with Zilla actually around 6 months ago. This video is a bit overdue, but I'm kind of happy that it went overdue because I've actually been able to see the progress of these mini LEDs longer. If you can't tell, by me here is a planted terrarium. I don't have any animals in here. This is all planted, and I will get to that momentarily. But first, I want to discuss with you guys sort of my experience working with this new product. So about 6 months ago, I was approached by the brand manager of Zilla. Him and I are pretty cool. We like to talk. I really enjoy getting to know him and just discussing reptile products because I'm a huge nerd about that. And he's like, hey, you know, I've got some mini LEDs. You want to try them out on some of your animals? And so I figured, of course, I want to display some of my animals, like my corn snake Vegas here. And Vegas here, for those of you that don't know him, he was one of my first reptiles. He's actually 13 years old now. And as you can see, he's checking out the terrarium right behind me. Aren't you, bud? Yeah, you're a good boy. You're a very good snake. So anyways, I figured, yeah, you know, I'd throw Hash, Vegas, and a couple of my other animals on these plant LEDs, you know, see how it illuminates the enclosure. So what I did is, I first put Hash and Vegas, my two adult corn snakes, and I'll put photos in the video right here of when I had their setups with the LEDs on, because I know I really never filmed a ton of videos with my corn snakes when they had the LEDs on their tanks. Obviously they're way past that now, and you'll see that in a later video. The thing that I found interesting with them on the LEDs is these are very bright LEDs. I'm actually running 4 of these Zilla Mini Plant LEDs right on this terrarium. And as you can see, this is a very crisp, bright light. And what I found instantly, I mean literally the day after putting these LEDs in the prosol fixtures I had my corn snakes with, I saw a reduced amount of activity. Those of you that know anything about corn snakes, I'll tell you right now, they are a crespucular species, meaning they are active during the hours of dawn and dusk. And so what I suspect happened is that when I had these LEDs turn on at 8 in the morning and turn off at 8 at night, there wasn't much of a gradient as far as light level going, showing the lights getting brighter and then dimmer, that encouraged them or sort of let them know when they should be active. Instead, what I was finding is that they would sleep for maybe 20 hours a day, and I just think that it was too bright for them. So I ended up taking them off the LEDs, and lo and behold, you can see these I'm sorry these images aren't the best. I just took them from sitting down in the reptile room literally the day after I finished getting them off of LEDs, and you can see they're out and about, and I honestly suspect the LEDs were too bright for them because they're a crespucular species. They needed to see the daylight get shorter and dimmer instead of having bright light for 12 to 14 hours a day. Those of you guys that might consider investing in this product, species such as bearded dragons, water dragons even, or, you know, day geckos, anything that is truly a diurnal species that is active during those bright daylight hours, I could totally see benefiting from this. But as far as going with corn snakes, I might not recommend this product because, again, just seeing that they were not as active when they were on LEDs versus as soon as they were off of LEDs, it might be something to consider. You know, the same could go for crespucular species such as leopard geckos, crested geckos even, although I feel with crested geckos, because you can do a ton of live plants in their enclosure, that if you provide enough cover, it would do great for the plants, and the gecko would still be able to escape that intense light and return to its nocturnal activities. But all that aside, let's talk about the plant terrarium. So this plant terrarium is very unique because I literally set it up about 3 months before I went off to university. Those of you guys that have been following the channel for a long time know that my lack of uploads lately has simply been because I've been studying in college. And so this plant terrarium, I didn't really have a ton of opportunities to see. And the biggest reason for that was because, again, I was states away going to university. But to give you guys some background on this, my father loves carnivorous plants. And those of you that know plants, you can probably already see, you can identify that I've got pitcher plants right here. And you can probably see the Venus flytraps and a couple other species in this terrarium. But pretty much he goes to me, he says, you know what? Before you go, I want to set up a plant terrarium. And I was like, okay, Dad, sure, let's do it. And so those of you that, again, are really long time subscribers, this is my old 55-gallon aquarium. But I figured this would be perfect for plants because I don't really want to keep a reptile in a tank anymore. I wanted to have something that would look nice, and I wanted something that would really show off the plants. So this is a 4-foot glass tank, and quite simply, you just set it up like a terrarium. I've got about 3 inches of hydroton on the bottom here for a drainage layer. And then what's unique about carnivorous plants is they come from very acidic and nutrient poor environments. Primarily the species that we're keeping are found in the Carolinas. So mainly what I was aiming to do was create a miniature bog in a sense. So for the substrate, I actually did a 50-25-25 mixture. It's vermiculite, peat moss, and sand. And the idea is I want something that's not going to hold a ton of nutrients. It can drain super easily, and it'll allow those plants to root down and truly grow in there. On top of that substrate layer, I then just have a small blanket of sphagnum moss. The sphagnum moss started out dry, but then after being kept damp for a prolonged period of time, and then under the LED plant lights, it actually came back. And so there's certain areas where the moss is living and starting to carpet naturally, which I think is pretty cool. I'll show you guys now some before and after photos. So I'll just narrate when these photos are taken, and I'll put the photos in order of what my voice is saying. We set it up, and so I believe in this photo that I'm gonna put here, you can see that there's just the one center pitcher plant. I don't have a ton of moss yet. It's very simple. Then a few months later, we started adding more of the plants. We added the moss, and then obviously jump to now when I'm finally back from college and can take some of my own updated photos. You can see there's actually some clovers and stuff that's naturally grown in there. I do pluck those out so they don't compete and overgrow with the carnivorous plants, as those are what we're intending to keep in this terrarium. But then again, you can see just how much growth has occurred in the past 3 months of this terrarium being set up. And the thing that surprised me the most is that these plants grew so well under this Zilla LED plant light. And I won't lie, I was kind of skeptical. I think the biggest thing that Zilla did differently compared to the other competing brands is if you look at their LEDs up close, the LEDs are super compact. So instead of, say, the Zoomed Reptisun LED, those panels typically are more spread apart with each bulb, so you're getting various zones of light. Whereas instead with these Zilla Mini Plant LEDs, you're literally compacting, I believe it's 20 or 30 different little LED panels to create this crisp, white, intense light. And since it is designed for plants, it does illuminate in the 6.5K spectrum. However, as I stated, it has worked incredibly well for lighting this terrarium because it is a 4-foot aquarium. I'm actually using 2 of the Zilla 20-inch ProSol fixtures without a timer, and then I have 2 of the Zilla Mini Plant LEDs in each of them. Even though the ProSol fixtures can hold 4 sockets, the plant LEDs are a little bit longer of a bulb, so it can only hold 2 of them. However, I feel this is the perfect amount of LEDs because it gives me around 1 bulb per every foot of the terrarium. When it comes to these LEDs, the one thing that I have to say I really love is how energy efficient these are. If you guys remember an older video I did a few months back on how to save electricity in your reptile room, you'll remember that I kind of have become a bit of a nerd as far as my energy consumption goes. These mini plant LEDs are only 5 watts each. So in a sense, this 4-foot brightly lit terrarium is heated with 20 watts of electricity. It's pretty awesome. That is That's definitely a lot less wattage than some of the other bigger, bulkier LED fixtures. Even some of my T8 bulbs that I use for UVB for, again, animals like my Chinese water dragons, those are already 18 watts a bulb. So it's pretty impressive. And again, thank you to Zilla for figuring that out, because you know, I guess it's just, again, me being a bit of an environmental nerd, and call me a tree hugger if you will, but I really like seeing that as the reptile hobby progresses, that we are creating more efficient and innovative products. In Zilla, I mean, I can repeat myself over and over again, you guys are not disappointing. So seriously, thank you for doing this with all your products. This terrarium has been up for around 3-4 months now, and it is flourishing. Like I said, all the plants are thriving in this high humidity environment. I really wanted to make sure I got this video filmed before the true onset of winter, because any of you guys that are watching that keep carnivorous plants know that you do need to winter them. They are actually a plant that does hibernate because they experience a cold period. So probably about the week after this video is filmed, my father will come up here, he'll uproot the Venus flytraps, and we actually put them in our refrigerator, and they sit in there for about 3 months in total darkness. Then we warm them up and we plant them back in, and then they return to their summer cycle. So it's definitely interesting as far as plant keeping goes. Again, I am not an expert on carnivorous plants. My dad primarily works with this, but when we were setting up, I said we do need to use these Zilla LEDs because they're designed for plant growth, and clearly for something such as carnivorous plants, which do need pretty intense sunlight, these LEDs did not disappoint as far as making sure these plants thrive in the captive environment. Until then, guys, this has been Alex of Alex's Agamids. I really hope you found this product review video helpful, and if any of you guys use the Zilla plant LEDs, definitely comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinion on them. Again, thank you to Zilla Reptile Products. You guys truly are an amazing company. I want to thank you again so much for not only making these products, but the support for my channel that you guys have been doing. I really just can't thank you guys enough. And of course, all of you viewers, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. And until then, this has been Alex of Alex's Agamids, Vegas, my 13-year-old corn snake, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.